Hello and welcome to Lesson 2.5, Chemical Properties. The focus of this lecture is to give you the ability to identify the indicators of a chemical reaction. And the duration is approximately 15 minutes. Before we begin, make sure you have something to write with and something to write on. These notes are helpful on assignments, activities, and assessments. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the chemical properties of matter, identify indicators of a chemical change, and distinguish a chemical change from a physical change. As a candle burns, its compounds, the wax, combine with oxygen in the air to form water and carbon dioxide. This is an example of a chemical change. A chemical property is any ability to produce a change in the composition of matter. Flammability and reactivity are two examples of chemical properties. Since we just completed our lesson on physical change, can you point out a physical change that occurs when you burn a candle? If you came up with melting, you are correct. Two of the common examples of chemical properties are flammability, which is a material's ability to burn in the presence of oxygen, and reactivity. Reactivity describes how easily a substance chemically combines, or reacts, with another substance. For example, wood is flammable and humans have used wood fires for millennia for heat and light. While it is flammable, wood is not reactive under normal conditions. This is why wood is a common building material, and many homes for hundreds of years. Rust is a brittle, reddish-brown compound that forms when iron reacts with water and oxygen in the atmosphere. Iron is very reactive. Nitrogen is very useful because of its low reactivity. Potato chip bags are filled with nitrogen at the factory to increase their shelf life and to protect them in shipping. This gas also helps to prevent fires and explosions in the transportation of petroleum. When you buy a banana at the supermarket, it is often green and not very tasty. But over the next few days, the skin and the banana itself are undergoing changes. It becomes more yellow and eventually develops brown spots and quickly turns brown, and only good for banana bread or banana pancakes. What is happening to cause this change? Can this change be undone? What you are witnessing with the ripening of a banana is a chemical change where the starches of the plant convert to sugars, making the banana much sweeter and softer. A chemical change happens when a substance reacts with another substance to form one or more new substances. There are 5 different indicators of a chemical change. The first is a change in color. With a banana, we can judge how ripe it is based on the color. A change in color means that a new substance was formed by a chemical process. If you add one substance to another, and it starts bubbling, you have a chemical reaction. This is a popular science demonstration called elephant toothpaste. You can easily see that gas is formed to produce the foam, but there are 2 others as well. Hopefully, by the end of the lesson, you'll see them. Any solid that forms and separates from a liquid mixture is called a precipitate. When an acid is added to milk, proteins in the milk undergo a chemical change called denaturing, which causes them to stick together in clumps and forms a precipitate. The precipitation of the milk solids is the first step in making almost all cheeses. Quincy's water supply is the Mississippi River, which has many solids dissolved and suspended in the water. These solids need to be removed as part of the purification process. This is accomplished in the first stage where chemicals, such as aluminum sulfate, are added to acceleration the precipitation and flocculation process. If you are curious and would like to know more about how municipalities purify water, click on the question mark. If 2 substances combine, and there is a significant change in temperature, there was a chemical change. Fire is an example of a change in temperature. Once going, a fire releases large amounts of heat. This heat comes from the reaction of the hydrocarbons in the wood with oxygen in the air, forming water and carbon dioxide. I've brought back the elephant's toothpaste, and I told you that there were 3 indicators of a chemical reaction. Look at the image, specifically inside the circle. Do you see something? Yes, that's steam. The reaction is very exothermic. That's a science word for gets hot. You also may have noted the 3rd indicator. If you pay close attention, you'll see that the liquids are clear when added to the graduated cylinder. But they turn brown when they mix at the bottom. There is also a pale blue substance in the cylinder. This is dish soap. The last indicator of a chemical reaction is light. The obvious example of heat and light is fire. But the humble firefly produces light through a process called chemiluminescence. This is light without heat. This is the same reaction that occurs in glow sticks. A summary of the 5 signs of a chemical reaction. A change in color. The formation of a gas. A change in temperature. The formation of a precipitate. Or the production of light. This something that you should be able to apply to the world around you. If you look close enough. It is important that you not only be able to identify chemical and physical changes, but also be able to tell the difference between them. With a physical change, the substance remains the same, only the physical state changes. Melting, freezing, bending, cutting, and folding are all examples of a physical change. Like when the ice melts in your cup, it's still water, and you can consume water in either form. In a chemical change, a new substance is formed. Examples of chemical change are rusting, cooking, rotting, fermenting, and digestion. When you burn wood, heat, light, and a few other substances form. What remains is no good for building homes or furniture. By now, you should be able to describe the chemical properties of matter, identify indicators of a chemical change, and distinguish a chemical change from a physical change. A short exit quiz follows, and you must score 80% or better to prove an understanding of the material. Scores less than 80% will have to repeat the lesson. Congratulations, you have demonstrated mastery of the material. Please click Exit to submit your results.